Yo, what's going on YouTube and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's Kevin Forte and today we're taking a look at the recent rumors around Philadelphia Flyers elite starting goaltender Carter Hart. These rumors have been circling around now for the past couple of days and I wanted to address them because I think that people are misreading the message here on a Carter Hart trade, and this is obviously to get clicks and people are definitely trying to create that, oh, here comes a big trade, he's going here, he's going there. In all reality, Danny Briere is doing his job as GM. I'll give you one word for this. Leverage. This is all about leverage, and we're going to discuss that in today's video. So there's been a lot going on here between the Philadelphia Flyers and their new GM, Danny Briere. He was announced as the GM earlier this month, and there's been a lot of talk that he is willing to entertain a trade for anybody on the Flyers roster. Yes, including Carter Hart. But that doesn't mean that Danny Briere is actively shopping Carter Hart. I think people need to understand what we're looking at here. So the first thing is, if they do trade Carter Hart, that tells you a lot about the window for the Flyers. Because if they're willing to trade Carter Hart, and let's say they actually do trade Carter Hart, they're saying to themselves, we are not going to be competitive for the next 5 seasons. I don't know if that's what the Flyers are looking at, but if you're looking at a situation where you're willing to trade Carter Hart, who at his current age, at 24 years old, in a 5-year rebuild would be 29 years old. So you're telling me that from now till he's 29, he just signed, he's got a contract. You're telling me you're going to trade that guy right now? It makes no sense. And he's a good goalie. He's put up a .900 save percentage the last 2 years on, let's be honest, a very piss-poor team in Philadelphia. So, as bad as things have been for the Flyers, and maybe even for himself personally, he's still a good goalie nonetheless. So, what you have to look at here, too, is, like I said, it's about leverage. Maybe ask yourself, what does that have to do with it? So, there's been mixed messages, which tells you there is no mixed message. There's the message. So, the Hockey News says the Flyers GM throws cold water on a Carter Hart trade rumor. From the Philadelphia Inquirer, Danny Briere right to say no. Flyer is untouchable, even goalie Carter Hart. And then the Yard Barker says Danny Briere addresses potential Carter Hart trade. So they're trying to create this buzz around it. And what you have to look at here is if the Flyers are saying, oh, please, we need to trade Carter Hart, we will take anything. We will give you, we'll take anything for him. Well, then you have no leverage. And then you end up in a Jack Eichel Buffalo Sabres situation where everybody said, wow, they didn't really get the maximum value that we thought they were going to get. Or more recently, Jacob Chikrin. The Coyotes tried to create this huge market around him, this huge buzz, which they did. But then when the second the trade deadline came down and the market dried up, well, they lost all the leverage because now now you're not going to play him for the rest of the regular season. You're going to play, you have to trade him now. And that created a situation where the Ottawa Senators got him for a way more discounted price than anybody had thought. So this is Danny Briere creating the market, creating some buzz, and maybe teams will start calling on Carter Hart and just to see what the price could be. And considering goalies, the goalie market isn't going to dry up in the same way I think that maybe the defensive market did at the deadline, because Carter Hart and the Flyers have way more time to get this deal done. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen on the draft floor, and I'm not even saying it's going to happen before July 1st, but I would assume that they would try to get this done before July 1st so they have an idea of, well, we should go get a goalie in free agency. Or we should, before teams start getting goalies in free agency, and then the market gets to a point where maybe a team's willing to overpay a goalie in free agency, then pick up your Carter Hart. And I think that's something that if the Flyers play this smart and Danny Briere does this correctly, they could get a pretty nice package here. And by creating this, we're willing to trade him. We won't say no, and we won't reject your offer if Carter Hart's in it, but we're also not going to give him away. And I think that's kind of what people have to realize here is, as much as there's this buzz that he might go to Montreal or Winnipeg or one of these other teams, pick your team, the reality is this is Danny Briere doing his job, and he's actually doing a very good job of that. Now let's see if he could trade him before the market dries up. And I do think we could see a Carter Hart trade. I really do. As crazy as it sounds, there is definitely something to be said here. And like I said, I'm not saying that I want to see him traded because I think he's a huge part of the Flyers' future. But I understand why Danny Briere would try to pick up and recoup as many assets as possible. Because like I said, if the goal is for this to be a 4 to 5 year rebuild, right? Getting a couple of really top high-end prospects in trades via the draft, they could turn this around fairly quickly. But it might involve a Carter Hart trade. And you also don't want to be in this situation where, even minus the window thing, maybe Carter Hart's saying to himself, you know what, I've been here the last 2 years, it's been terrible. And you don't want to be in a John Gibson situation where you are in Anaheim, where his value is maybe depleted because his numbers haven't looked that good, especially this past season. He was a sub-900 save percentage. That's unheard of for John Gibson. So now you're trading him when his value is down. So, and he's unhappy, right? He's unhappy in Anaheim. He doesn't like he likes the direction of the team. It's like, how much longer do I have to wait? So, and now you start to have that sour taste in your mouth where you're kind of looking for a new home, which is never a really, it's not going to lead to success. So I want to hear what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of the Carter Hart rumors with the Philadelphia Flyers? I think it's extremely interesting and something that we definitely have to keep an eye on going into the summer, but temper your expectations on this one, okay? So that's it for today's video, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.